You know, it's funny that you bring out the hot dog one because we will be talking about hot dogs today. I'm still sick. Please forgive me. My nose is like crazy running right now. No, 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 no. The hot dog is not the first American street food. Chili was, which is why we're making chili. Hot dogs are up there. We had a lot of cultural influence from other cultures. I'm gonna go ahead and just give myself. Lucas is finishing up what he needs to do. So, oh shit, you know what I forgot? I thought I did everything. I forgot something. Hold on, guys. The date and everything's wrong. What is today? Today's the 12th. Apparently, I forgot to do this yesterday too. Oh well. All right, that's fixed. Chilean's Follies is a regional thing called a Full House. Hell yeah. All right. Started, was it? Why is truffle not good? What do you mean truffles? Like truffles? Like the mushroom? The mushroom that you find in poop? Is my microphone on? Can you guys hear me? Oh, hi. Hello, hello. I feel like I am worse today than I was yesterday. We woke up this morning and both me and Lucas we were both like, today is gonna suck. This week is a struggle bus. Like the sickness is real. But hey, I'm doing it. I have not canceled many streams this week, which is good for me considering how like crappy I feel right now. Was the Full House invented in East Tennessee? Kilted, I didn't know that. That's something I did not know. I know the Full House from Texas. I know it from Texas. Street food and street carts as we know it was actually invented in Texas. Well, invented, quote unquote, like, other cultures have been doing it for, as we found out yesterday in the Korean lesson that we had. It has been everywhere. Oh my God. I thought, like, I mean, like, it is in small bits. In small bits, truffle is good. I don't, the people who put like a ton of truffle, I'm like, you're just trying to show off you have money. That doesn't taste good. Guess who doesn't have school? Oh my God. Oh my God. What is today even? Today is Thursday. Truffle in small doses. Exactly, exactly. And I won't miss the famous cook. I'm becoming more famous every day. I think I'm becoming infamous, not famous, because people either like me or they hate me. It does have a unique smell to it. It does, truffle does have a very unique smell. It is not the best smell in the world. Oh, what's the difference between famous, you're known for good things, infamous, you're known for like nefarious things, I guess. I love popping in here during class too. I like it too. You guys will have to bear with me. I am really, like, this morning, my alarm went off at 7:30 and I looked up at the ceiling and I said, no, not today, Satan. And I went back to sleep for like 30 minutes. My alarms did go off another 562 times approximately in that 30 minutes, but making coffee, because if I don't make coffee today, I will not survive this stream, and we will cut it off in 15 minutes instead of, a couple hours like we normally do. We're drinking Guatemalan coffee. Street food staples, soft pretzels sold by street vendors in Philadelphia since the 1800s, roasted corn inspired by Native Americans, yep, candied apples, popular at fairs, lobster rolls. Yes! Oh, you're on it. You're on it. You're on it. It is history. We learn the history of food. Fun fact, the hot dogs came so with street food that Nathan opened Nathan's Coney Island. Yeah. Yes. You're on it today. Okay, but do you know what the first one of the first street foods was and why we have such awful. I guess we're gonna use a Whataburger cup today for coffee. We're using Whataburger today. This history is a fun one. It is fun. Do you know what the first street food in America technically was? And why? And it kind of pushed the attitude that street food is like dirty and gross and blah blah blah. Actually. Huh?
Rats?
No. No, it is not rats. No. I mean the big, oh my God. You're not gonna do anything if you don't have water. I promise you that. Oh, I almost real messed up my coffee, guys. That's how tired I am. That was almost really, really bad. Cheap viewers. Oh my God. Oysters were one of the first ones. And it was immigrants that brought it over. But like as we think about like Red has something legendary that does this. As we think of street food as like you getting whole meals, the first widely street food in America was oyster, exactly. And it was immigrants that were selling oysters. Around that time, we also started to see Jewish foods and Italian foods that became very popular in street foods. But the thing that made street food, quote unquote, what it is today was chili in the 1800s being sold in San Antonio on the boardwalk by Mexican women. And what does America hate the most? Women and immigrants. And so it has pushed the ideology that street food is dirty. That street food is very, very dirty. After the ladies started selling their chili in San Antonio, I think it was about 1860. It could be 1890. My brain is kind of short-circuiting right now. I've read so much the last few days, but also I'm really sick. Once they started selling their chili, the American government basically came in and was like, no, you can't do that. How dare you? Which is like, it led to us having tamale ladies. I had a tamale lady in San Francisco and she's dead now. And I'm really sad about that because her tamales were banging. We're going to get into it as we go. I'm going to write down what we're doing today. We're going to prep for chili. I'm gonna use we're doing elote too, because all of this is kind of going to the definitely tamale lady here. I miss tamale ladies. You want to try a tamale? They're very, very, very good. Lucas doesn't like them. They have a weird texture for a lot of people. But big question, what's your question? Do you like green chili? I do like green chili. I like all chilies. Good morning. Hope you're feeling even better today. I'm feeling worse. I was saying, I woke up this morning and I was like, not today. Not today. But we're making our coffee, we're getting our stuff done. You've never had chili. Oh, you are in for a treat, my friend. And it's really easy. Chili is very, very easy to make. And it is the one of the only dishes that I think can translate from different cultures easily. I love chili. Colorado chili. So many foods I need to try. Yes. Yes, so many foods. Cabbage. Prep. Coleslaw. Do you guys know I used to think it was cold slaw when I was a kid. I thought it was cold slaw. And then grilled cheese. All right, here's what we're doing today, guys. This is what we're doing today. We're gonna prep chili, prep corn, finish chili, prep the slaw, grill the cheese, because we are doing, the menu is elote. Usually where I put this has my dishes on it right now because we used a lot of dishes yesterday. I'll just put it onto the side. It'll probably get knocked over. That's fine. That's fine. Your mom makes the best grilled cheese. Grilled cheese, sorry, green chili. I've eaten a lot of weird things that are not food, like rocks. I mean, I think all of us had a rock phase when we were younger. Tree bark. Everyone has eaten tree bark, my guy. Everyone's eaten tree bark. It's called cinnamon. I'm finishing up my coffee so that I have a semblance of brain today. We're drinking Guatemalan coffee. Yay! Everyone has eaten sand at least once. Yeah. Yeah. Even by accident. Like we truly we it was pretty good. You have to be careful on what kind of tree bark you eat, because some of them have medicinal qualities that can make your mouth very, very, very much feel terrible and go numb. Bro, what? When I was a resident in charge of the mature students floor for over 30, I did a grilled cheese and homemade tomato soup bar. Oh, yes. When I was in college, I was in college so many years ago. We had an oxygen bar during finals. I went to a bougie ass school, y'all. Excuse me, I need to get a tissue. A tissue. Because my nose is running. Ugh. I really hate my face right now. I hate my face and I hate my body right now. I do not like being sick. It's my least favorite thing to do. What is an oxygen bar? So basically you get pumped full of pure oxygen and it gives you like a almost the feeling of being high. But it's supposed to offer mental clarity. So my bougie ass school did that so that we wouldn't be as stressed out during finals. It was in the middle of the library, so you just go and book an appointment and go. I remember it was all the rage. It was all the rage back then. I'm not even kidding. My school was anti-alcohol, but like anything else, they were like, hell yeah. Actually, a kid got caught making meth in his dorm room. And he didn't even get suspended because he was like the child of someone who knew someone who knew someone. I was like, what the heck? Dude really thought he was going to become like the Steve Jobs of meth in the Baylor dorm rooms. He was probably making bank, though. Found out a lot of rich people like meth. All right. Me on my like full ride scholarship because I'm poor as hell. Dude over here making meth. Who's rich? He was a rich kid. It's just not fair, guys. It's just not fair. Does this go to this? Does. Okay. Anyway, hello. Welcome in. I have not done my true opening yet. My brain is all over the place, so you're gonna have to excuse me for this one. We have our Whataburger coffee today. Just bring the cocaine back on. I mean, like at least cocaine's better than meth, but man, white people love meth. I know it sounds weird, but like the people that I was in a psychiatric ward for an eating disorder for a long time, and you kind of get in between the like suicidal people and the people with addictions, and the amount of like true people, like truly rich people that I met that were in there that were like on meth, I was like, this is supposed to be a poor people drug. Why aren't you taking it? You can afford cocaine. Sorry. Bro for real thought he was Walter White. Coffee. Okay. All right. Welcome to a very unhinged Mom Noms because my brain is not working very well today. Hello, I'm Mom Noms. I've been a chef for over 20 years, and I'm here to teach you some food history as well as some interesting facts and recipes and to just hang out because that's what we do. That's what we do here. That's what we live for. And I really hope crushed Pez candy. Oh, I love Pez. I always try to convince rich people to buy me stuff they never do. You gotta offer them something that they need or want. Rich people are interesting. Anyway, we'll be making some chili today as well as elote and coleslaw, as it was one of America's first and most infamous, we're going to go back with the word, street foods. The history of chili being sold in San Antonio led to a lot of the regulations that we have on street food vendors, and it started all the way in the 1800s. And it also led to almost all of the stereotypes we have. Actually, all of the street food vendors did, because street food vendors were mainly ran by immigrants, and America since day one, even though we were a country founded by immigrants and created with immigrants, we have always hated immigrants. Couldn't tell you why. Don't understand that. I don't understand how a country who's literally founded under the ideology of immigrants could hate immigrants so much, but you know, here we are today. I'm gonna get my first parts of my chili going, because the chili is gonna be what takes us the longest amount of time. We need an onion. onion, and a pepper. And this is my chili recipe. It is not something that you have to like or want to eat, but this is my favorite chili recipe. I do that. And this is honest to God. I am so confused about how this world exists, to be very honest. The amount of hypocrisy in this world is outstanding. I love how hello. How you doing, crazy? How are you doing, crazy? I'm trying to get to my thingy so I can read chat while I'm standing here. No, because if I'm turned around, I can't read chat. Like, if I'm cooking right here, I need a chat over here, you know? Hello, you're good? Good. I am still very sick. It is not getting any better. It's in fact getting a hell of a lot worse. And I am over it. I am over it, you guys. Yes. Anyway, yeah, it confuses me. A lot confuses me. And what confuses me the most is how little, like, not common sense, but like, I guess it could be common sense, how the perception of immigrants and food too. Kind of, we pretty much nearly well, Lucas did. We pretty much passed out after stream last night. And like just got around to being humans again. Just got around to being humans again. But what really confuses me is just the hypocrisy. Like, if you don't like immigrants, stop eating. That's all I have to say. Stretch. Okay. Oh my God, I needed that. Because like 99% of our food in America comes from the backs of immigrants, to be very honest. To be very honest, I did need that. I am 100% not in my own head right now, if that makes any sense. Maybe I am in my own head. I don't know. I don't feel good. That's what I'm trying to say. My butter's not open. I have a true chef mentality when it comes to being sick. I'm like, hell yeah, I can do a stream being sick. Like, my chefs always told me that I needed to be in the kitchen no matter what. So here I am in the kitchen while being sick. The toxic mentality of being a chef is wild. Wild. The people of Jamestown, we're literally eating people. It was the natives that taught them what to eat and how to survive on land. Yep. Yep. No. No, Therion. We don't talk about that. It's like we don't talk about Bruno, but for American history. We treat natives like not like shit too. We like treat the Native Americans like shit too. The indigenous people here. Oh, one of my favorite like things I've been told on the internet recently. One of my favorite things that I've been told on the internet recently was that indigenous people also were not indigenous to this land. They also weren't from here. They do get treated like shit in a lot of places. They do. We're just terrible people. Why are we so terrible? Why are humans awful? Now they're in fear of being deported, but to where? Yeah, yep. I mean, we've had a lot of people that have been like quote unquote deported who are literally born and raised here. Yes, today is gonna be an angsty little stream, guys. Today is gonna be an angsty little stream because we are talking about street food and street food in America. Born and raised from immigrants. Idiot sandwich. I did know that Border Patrol. Yeah, I did. That's funny. And none of them are qualified to do anything. They're just the jocks in high school who like peaked. I swear to God, they're just the jocks at high school that peaked. It is fucked. The only country, there's a little bit of a some theories going on there. We have found human remains and bones that are older than the ones that we found in Africa. It seems to be like the Middle East towards China is where humans originated from. Religion is a big play on why on a lot of these issues, actually. A lot of the issues that we'll be talking about while we're talking about the street food come from religion and heavily politics. But because, you know, as humans, we don't listen to science. But we have there has been a strong theory brewing recently that the first humans were from the top of the Middle East going into Asia, not Africa, because there have been tools found and things like that. What happens when you get deported? You go to jail for a while, and then who knows after that? Because right now the deportation system is not the same as it used to be. So they basically send you to jail, and what they're supposed to do is give you a ride to wherever you're originally from, but that is not happening recently. Organized really well. Christianity has definitely taken, and it's the funniest part about Christianity is that it teaches something so wholesome and so good, especially in the New Testament, and none of them follow it. All right, so we're just sweating our onions. We're gonna throw in some garlic in there in just a moment, and we're gonna throw in our pepper. Not my fault that my ancestors were Native American. Yes, well, that's the funniest part too, is that we are targeting people that are from Central and Southern America for these deportations. And I'm like, you guys realize that they're like closer to the people who were like originally on this land than, you know, white people. You know how you can denounce your like citizenship when you move? Can I denounce my color? No, I'll just do that. I will use my color to do the things to do better in this world and to teach. Because food, you know, when people say food's not political and food's not like you should, like food is just food and it's not something that like you should bring up politics or racism or anything like that with. And I'm like, you sure about that? You sure about that? Because food has always been not just socioeconomic way of being rude to other people, but it's also has been used for extremely racist shit. I'm not a human. I would love to not be a human. It's always the goddamn white people. It's always the white people. Did you put the cats away today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought you would enjoy that.
Mm,
Because we're both not really in it.
yeah. Food is super political. How do you act so you're not deported? I don't know. I mean, food is one of the most political things there is. We've had goddamn wars fought over fucking food, man. And here we have people literally starving to death in America while our politicians spend millions of dollars on ribeyes and lobster. What the actual fuck? Sorry, Angie sounds. We have children who do not know where their next meal has come from, and that should not have to rely on things like No Kid Hungry, which is a charity that we will go back to supporting as soon as we get stable, because like we also don't know where anything's coming from because the world's screwed. But a week ago, I had a convo about the native birds in California, and someone said the bird was native to Mexico, and I made a smart-ass remark about deporting the birds back to Mexico. And since Cali isn't Mexico anymore, where's us? Oh my God, you're so funny. I love you. I'm so glad you're here. Eat the rich. I heard red wine goes great. Yeah, food insecurity should not be a thing in our country, yet here we are. Yeah, especially like, fine. I sometimes, like, you know, actually, I think the one thing that we've never had a problem with, like, even when we haven't had money, like, when we don't have money, is that I figure out a way to make us food. I will always figure out how to, but not everyone has a me. Not everyone has someone who is a chef, but also, like, was poor most of their life and can figure out how to make really tasty dishes with nothing. Yeah, they do. Like, ugh. And then afterwards, they eat them. And like one of my biggest goals in life, like honestly, like if we're gonna talk about food and what I really want mom noms, what I really want mom noms to become is that I would like for us to do a like to help with No Kid Hungry and the food banks, and really try to figure out how to make America great again in the actual way of like not letting our children starve to death, not letting our families starve to death, the people who live here starve to death, because like if you're such a Christian freaking nation, did you not read the part where Jesus says like help out your fucking neighbors? Did you not? Is that something that never came to your mind? Anyway, sorry for the rants. It all has to do with what we're talking about today, guys. It literally all has to do with what we're talking about today. So let's get into it a little bit. Let's talk about the extreme racism of American food. So we've talked about it before, where a lot of food is poverty versus like upper class, what we call royalty food, right? Poverty and royalty food. And there tends to be a trend where a food is either a poverty food first and then rich people take it over, or it is a rich person food and then the rich people get really fucking mad when the poors get it, like mac and cheese. So in today's episode, we're talking about street food in America, which was inherently built, removing rights, not trans people, not gay people, not everyone needs rights. Lobster was for slaves and prisoners for a long time before the rich. Yeah, Exactly. So we have it either like is poverty food, and then rich people are like, oh, I don't want the people to eat that. So it becomes like a rich person food, or it is rich person food that becomes poor people food. And you can kind of tell what's going on in the world at the time when these foods become popular, or when they transfer from being rich people food versus poverty food. For example, mac and cheese became poverty food in the Great Depression because it was being sold in an easier way to make it for like 19 cents for 2 boxes. So, as far as street food goes, street food has always, up until the street food revolution of 2016, 15, 16 in America, when all the food trucks came out. Street food has always been in America associated with immigration and poor people. So my older people here, I don't know how old you all are. I know that Kilted might be able to answer this. My older people who are in your like 30s and 40s, maybe even your late 20s. How many of you were told, especially if you have the skin tone of me, how many of you were told to not eat street food because it's dirty and unsanitary? I'll be 40 this year. Ugh. You have? Okay. And you're younger, so this is still a lie that's kind of coming out. I'll be 36 in May. Don't like it. But how many of you guys have ever been like told, don't you eat street food? They sell rats. They sell bugs. They're disgusting. Your dad was much more open-minded. You're very young and came to an understanding. And I've heard that before. Your dad was much more open-minded. That's good. That's fantastic. You travel a lot. So I feel like your brain is a little bit better. It's a little bit more understanding, because once you start traveling, you start seeing like, no, this is just like how some countries do this. Like their street food is just a thing. We talked about, Korean street food yesterday. It's literally something that makes it easily accessible for people. It's like the OG fast food in my head. Actually, we have eaten a ton of street food, especially when we're in our big cities. Okay. The Chinese never has cats around. Ever wonder why? This one hits close, Therian. This one hits close. It makes me very angry to hear shit like that, to be very honest. Like, this is a ranting stream. I did not mean for it to be a ranting stream. This actually did come from me ranting online, because someone at this stream brought to you by the random person on Threads who said, who eats food from strangers, like off of a food truck or a potluck? And I was like, a potluck and a food truck are two very different things. One is like held in high regards, like, they have to be safe because they have food inspectors. And a potluck was just everyone brings their shit over and like everybody eat everything. And when I told her that, she was like, you're wrong. You have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah? Yeah? I ran a food truck, bitch. I ran a food truck. Your family clumps fast food and street food together, and they like, I think that, in all honesty, I think that street food is a shit ton better, is a lot better than fast food. Because usually it's ingredients and recipes that people have been passing down for a long time. So we're getting into America. By the way, guys, I got my meat on sale and I'm super excited about that. Because I am a whore for a good sale. My parents, when a dog is naughty, they say that they'll sell him to the Chinese. I really feel like this is a joke that is from everybody in all cultures. Like, why do we hate China so bad? Not good for me. How about we just sell the racists and cook them? Or the rich people. We could just cook them. I have a great human being recipe that I want to try out. I'm also like, because I'm not feeling great, I'm also like, I'm just saying everything that's coming to mind, and I am so sorry, guys. I am so sorry. So when the first street food vendors started to come around, and yes, these are pattied, but I do not care. We're gonna break them up anyway. When the first street food vendors started coming around, we saw oysters. We saw a lot of seafood. This is mostly because in other countries that was the street food. That was the street food. Was seafoods. And because you're so close, like especially on the East Coast, you're so close to the sea that you can get it easily and fresh. You know what? Tamales Bay, I have gone out and gotten oysters like directly out of the ocean, and it's so good. So good. But it's mainly immigrants who did this because immigrants at the time were treated like trash. If you were not born in the UK and immigrated over, or if you were not born here from someone who was born in the UK and immigrated over, you were trash here. We're talking, and we're not talking like all of the UK because Irish people were treated horrible. So we're talking a lot of Italians, Spanish, Germans were okay as far as like when they were treated, like how they were treated, but Italians, Irish people, Spanish people, anyone who had a tinge of skin color, they were all treated like trash. And they're the ones who were mainly bringing about the street food in this era. But it wasn't that bad because they were still mostly white people. They were still mostly Eurocentric, didn't have color on them. So mostly white people. But I hear they taste just like pork. Oh, lol. Communism? Okay, but communism is not a bad word. Communism is we'll get into this later. Communism is not what we have been told communism is. Socialism is not what we've been told socialism is. Like, do you want your food? Sorry, I'm making sure that my husband's actually eating. No clue how the Irish were treated like trash. They're white. They're poor. Ireland was mainly a very poor country for a very long time. So they were treated like trash because they were poor, because how dare you? A lot of them came over as indentured servants, which is one step above being a slave. Same with Italian people. They were treated, they were indentured servants, which is like one level above being a slave. They were paid, but not well, not a living wage. Holy moly, I totally belong here. Why? Such wonderful conversations so early in the morning. That's what we do. You have them whenever I am streaming. There is some kind of history, and the history usually winds up with us being really mad at rich people. It usually ends I'm gonna put a bunch of videos together and just count how many times we've gotten mad at rich people and racist people. Okay, as I'm like making chili and humming, and it ends with me passing out. Oh yeah, at night. At night when we do the RDPK streams, you always go to sleep. Because we're wonderful. Okay, so for a while, they were looked down upon because it was meant for poor people. Like, wait, can you imagine oysters being meant for poor people, guys? Like, we spend so much money on oysters nowadays, and when they first like became something that were sold easily in America, they were terrible. They were for poor people. They were for those poors. Those poors. But it wasn't until like, yes, they were looked down upon. People would, you know, say, ew, that's so dirty. How dare you? Not like your cooking was any better in that time period. Because we're talking right when America became America, right when we had our independence, and right after in the 1800s, where people were like, their sanitary conditions were not that good either. Yet they looked down their nose at all of the people who were selling foods from a lot. Excuse me. A lot of them were from like, I'm gonna use soy sauce instead of Worcestershire sour just to, I want that umami. Worcestershire sauce, not doing today. We're gonna do soy. A lot of people like look down their noses at the people who they thought were worse than them for selling street food. Essentially, I might pass out. I've been waiting for my love to wake up. Oh, and but these were mostly still very white, European centric looking people. We had not even started to delve into people who did not look like us making other foods, making food, and selling it at their own time. The one biggest problem and why it was heavily used Worcestershire sour sauce? No. I like I like the flavor of soy sauce better, and it has a very similar effect. We're gonna put it over here on the other side and let it start simmering. We'll add more water as it starts to break down a little bit. We want it chunky. We'll also add more of our gochugaru, which is chili powder. We'll add more of our chili powder and more of our spiciness after this. We get such a sleepyhead after we get it down. Okay. We reduce it a little bit. That's the word I'm looking for. Can't believe I just forgot the word reduce. Reboost speed, guys. Reboost speed. Such a CP head. It's okay to be CP. Your national pride. Worcestershire sour sauce is your national pride. Ads are going to start, so I'm gonna finish up saying Lucas burnt ego. I'm gonna finish saying this first part, and it is basically at this point, by the early to mid 1800s, we looked our noses down upon the street food vendors, but there was nothing that was basically stopping them from selling. We do not start seeing a huge push against street food vendors until we get to Texas, which is going to be the next part. And it's the reason we're making chili. And we're kind of celebrating Women's History Month because it was because of these ladies, these Mexican ladies. We consider them Mexican now, but they were Spanish and native. It wasn't until they started making chili that we start seeing a huge change in economical climate. And that's what the next part is. Now it's time for us, which is so important to the south of Africa. Food is crazy. Food is insane. Food is absolutely insane. And while we're waiting for the ads to show up, I have purple corn for our elote. Yes, we're gonna have a huge celebration of National Women's History Month or International Women's History Month next week. Everything that we're making next week was created by a woman.
Fucking ass, Red, when you talk about women's history, I see how it is, Twitch.
Bigots! Bigots!
Okay.
Purple for the win! Is this what it feels like to not have ads? Apparently. Mostly I walk off stream for a moment and sit down, especially when I don't feel good, and then I just talk to chat. I want to... You guys can look at the cook. Look at our chili being made. Oh.
You can do the episodes like they do in thing, but you just do it with your veggies.
Where's the 3?
What do you mean?
The 3 side by side. There you go.
There's also this one. For when you're facing about, but you're also working at both sides. I rarely use this one.
Hello, Red. Yeah, you got seen again. Lucas Red comes in the middle of the ads always.
Oh yeah, I needed to steal your phone because I cannot use.
Oh, do you need me to disconnect from remote?
What?
Do you need me to disconnect from remote on here?
No.
Oh.
I'm trying to set up that camera for the pivot.
Uh-huh.
But Mac makes it only so that you can. Max makes it so that you can only do the AirPlay connection.
Yeah, the remote play. That's what I just said.
No, but you can only do it if you're logged in with the same Apple account, and you're not logged in with this Apple account on this.
I can log into that. I don't need to log into it on this phone.
Okay.
That is easier, and I use my phone, so I need my phone over there. Water!
Sorry guys, I'm trying to build another.
I have no idea what your Apple ID password is.
I don't either. Probably.
Hello, welcome back. I'm trying to log into something for the Lucas right now. I'll be there in just a second. Especially since I can just do it the easy way. I don't want everything on this phone though. Why do you do such long phone things?
Because it's the same as kiddos, because kiddos were there for a little bit.
In D&D, I have done me looking for okay, you should be able to use it now. All right, guys. Sorry, I was trying to set something up for the Lucas. All right, ouch! I splashed my hand. I just splashed my hand. All right. So next, we're gonna start prepping our elote while we talk about the next part of the vendor history, street vendor history in America. We have made it to the early to mid 1800s, and a lot of what we consider Mexican nowadays. Hello, Bad Barbie. They start essentially doing chili on the boardwalk in San Antonio. And this is the first time we've seen not European immigrants that are doing this. How are you doing today? Good morning. We're raging at the world today. We're raging at the world today. We see a lot of non-European, like they're not European. They have a darker skin tone. They're not like us. And they are starting to make money on the boardwalk. Essentially, it's what is now considered the boardwalk, but it was just a place where there were a bunch of people who were working class who needed food. They needed food. They're selling chili. And America gets pissed. The government gets mad. They're like, how dare these women, who have skin color come in and take over the food industry? Who do they think they are? What do they think they're doing? Yeah. And we see the first regulations start to pop out for street food vendors. And it's super racist, guys. When I say these regulations are very racist, I am not. Should I just cook these first and then, you know what? I'm gonna cook these. We're gonna cook these and then cut them off. It'll be so much easier than what I am trying to do right now. We're just gonna boil them. Where's your papers? Do you have a permit? Where do you come from? Mind you, we're barely 100 years old, if that. If that. We're barely 100 years old. So, like, everyone, essentially, is still an immigrant here. But how dare these women, who are not slaves but have color to them, come in and sell food? So a bunch of litigation starts happening. A bunch of bureaucratic white guys start going, not in my backyard, essentially. Makes tea? Yes. Good tea. They start saying not in my backyard. And this is where we really, like, there was already a bunch of propaganda around street food. That hurt. I just slammed my hand into the water. Oh, that cut my hand. Kinda. Oh, that hurt. Oh well. And we start seeing like a lot of the propaganda that we know today from about street food. What I was asking you guys earlier, have you ever been told that oh my god, this stock is way too big. Have you ever been told that street food is nasty, made of weird stuff? That's some beautiful corn. It's from the Asian market, Kilted. Man, if you ever come visit, I'm taking you to KNS. Although I need to go to the new Pan Asia market to see if they have unis, because Lucas really, Lucas would like me to try to make an uni ramen. And I would also like to try that. We're just gonna soften. Essentially, all we're doing is softening up the husk. I might save some of this husk, actually, for later. We only got one piece of regular white, yellow corn. But I wanted the contrast. Oh my god. And I do not miss my shucking corn days. Those were not my favorite times. And my peeling potatoes and cleaning shrimp days. So we start to see a lot of the problems that we get told about today. That started in the 1800s. These really false propaganda like statements about street food. And for a long bit, we saw some street food. That's what I was kind of thinking. Good memories with I used to do that with my grandma. I don't like my grandma, but I used to do it with my grandma. Oh, Yazoo is pretty good. There's a couple of like small breweries out here too, that I would like to attempt to try out one day. I'm just gonna put these all in a bag and I'm gonna leave them. Anything that touches the floor does not come with me. If you touch the floor, you do not get to go in the bag. So we start seeing it's made from dog. It is disgusting. And during this time period, it becomes a lot harder for people who are non-immigrant or for people who are immigrants to open restaurants. Because we start seeing, the boom and the surge of restaurants in America, especially as America is starting to grow. As we see more cities popping up, we have a lot more going on. America is definitely growing. We see the regulation that comes with that, which means only white men can open a restaurant. Only white men can do this. Only white men can do that. And it's the same. We see the same in like owning land and stuff like that. So the whole world was racist. Well, the whole of America was racist at this time. And get in there. So it's making it harder and harder for anyone who's coming over that is an immigrant to create their own, to get this American dream that they've already been told about. Like, this is the same time period where people are like, oh my God, go to America. You can like make so much more money and do so many things and be known because it's a new country, blah, blah, blah. Except for if you aren't white. And we already know, like, Italians and Irish people are not considered white here, by the way. At this time period, they're not considered white. That's a different story for a different time. But we see a lot more food carts and food vendors, street vendors, because while they are starting to get regulated, it's easy to get around. It's not like nowadays where there's cameras everywhere. You just have to know where the police are going to be at the right time and sell food that way. So we see hot dog vendors from Jewish people start popping up in New York, places like New York and Boston and Philly. We start seeing Asian food pop up for the first time ever, especially towards the West Coast. We start seeing a lot more of the what we consider today to be Mexican pop up, especially women. Women ruled when it came to street vendors, which is probably why we don't like it. But like, America fucking hates women. What do they hate more than immigrants? Women. So we see a lot of these start popping up, and the idea is very much same. Like, it's dirty, it's disgusting. And it's because there are different foods than people here were used to eating. And they weren't in restaurants, and they were owned by people who, the Eurocentric founders of this country and the people who were spawned from them, they were made by the people who they considered dirty. But people loved it. The working class loved it. Street food has always started off as a way to feed the working class. We saw it in Korea. It was started to feed the travelers, the people who were traveling to sell things. And even in America, it was literally created in order to feed the people who didn't have a lot but wanted good food. And were working because they were never home. They were never home. A lot of working class, like, they worked, like, they didn't have remote working back then. So they were never home, and they had to figure out a way to eat, and they couldn't afford to go to like these fancy ass restaurants. They couldn't afford it. So welcome back. We're still talking about my Twitch thing updated, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. We're still talking about around the time that we started seeing rules and regulations come up in America on street food. And it was literally just to keep women and immigrants from being able to, I want to say, take over the food scene, because their food was better. Come on, their food was so much better than the gruel that was being served at restaurants during this time period. And so we start hearing these propaganda, these rumor mills going around. They cook with cats. They cook with cat. Oh, hello. I don't know what camera to look at. Really seems like the conservatives want to take us back before Civil Rights Act. Reminds me of the movie Soylent Green, when females were furniture that came with a person's apartment and could exchange if you didn't like it. Yeah. That is exactly where they want to take us back to. And, you know, it sucks. It just heavily sucks. It moves with me, guys. Boom. Boom. I don't know if it's still on there, but it's moving. And these affluent white men also just don't care for poor people. They don't care that, you know, a poor person needs something to eat in the middle of the day. Especially at this time period, there was no worker rights laws, anything like that. So people were working 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 hours a day. And when you don't have food for that long, you die. Do you have the Flavor Bible? I do, somewhere. When you don't have food, you die. And we do see an increase when these food vendors start going away because they're being heavily policed. We see an increase of poverty-stricken deaths. So, like, people are dying because they're starving to death, or they're getting diseases that are caused because you're poor. There are diseases that are caused because you're poor, because you can't afford to, like, go to a doctor or anything like that. And we see an uptick in that. And, you know, we go past civil rights. Street vendors are doing it on the down low. Let's get into the 1900s. Also, you know what I was told? That, like, Jewish people didn't invent the hot dog because they're kosher. I was like, you realize that the first hot dog was beef, right? Like, that's so, I'm sorry that you eat the pork hot dogs, but not all of them are fucking pork. We see in the 1900s when like basically we're past the Great Depression. Street food becomes very popular again during the Great Depression because it's something that you can buy with stamps, because people would essentially illegally trade their food stamps, their ration stamps, with the street food vendors, and the street food vendors could make more food. Hello, Z. I just lost my microphone. It fell off. And so we're in the 1930s, and street food is coming out again. But do you know what's also coming out? The great divide between rich people and poor people. Restaurants are still running. There's still a hell of a lot of very, very, very expensive restaurants that are going at a good rate, and they don't like when people can get their food for cheaper and it tastes better. So we see more heavily regulations in the 1930s going into the 1940s. And we kind of see a drop off, other than in major cities such as like New York or like, again, Boston, Philadelphia, things like that, coastal cities. We see that they don't drop off as much. And we start seeing an Asian trend come in. Like, we had already seen some Asian street food coming in, but we start seeing more of an Asian influence on street food, which just perpetuates the idea that, you know, it's made by cats and dogs. It's made by cats and dogs. And that is an idea that people still think today. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that one. So we're in the early 1900s. San Francisco hamburger, the user today. Hello. I hesitate to assume about the Jays. They might come take me away, but it seems the Zionist culturally appropriate all kinds of things to make their stealing hot dogs and hummus. Yeah. The cultural appropriation in food is a real. It is a real. So we get to basically the Black Plague happening in San Francisco. Do you guys know what San Francisco did? Do you guys know the history of San Francisco? I'm gonna start this by saying, do you know the history of racism and white supremacy in San Francisco? Which you may not think that it was a thing, but San Francisco was, not gonna lie, I eat a dog or a cat. Ethics wise, I probably wouldn't. But you know, I'd eat a human. What is a Zionist? People who are for Israel, essentially. This water is turning the most lovely color of purple. It's such a beautiful color of purple. We still need a few more minutes on this corn before we can strip it and basically start making our elote. So we get to San Francisco. A little bit of back history. San Francisco is horribly freaking racist. In fact, they drove and very classist, especially during the early time period. They drove all the poor people to Oakland so that there was a divide in the Bay between poor people and rich people, and then also took up all of the graves that were in San Francisco and moved them to a mainly Mexican town. They moved the graves out because, you know, how dare you put graves where there are rich people? The only people that they kept in town was basically the Chinese people that were in Chinatown, and the reason was because they did all of the work, essentially. When the Black Plague came around, it was very similar to COVID. When the Black Plague came around, they blamed China for the Black Plague, and they cut off Chinatown. Chinatown is in the middle of the city. It still is. It's the same Chinatown. It's in the middle of the city, but it can easily be blockaded off away from the white people. And so they blocked off Chinatown and would not let them have food coming in or going out, and until the Black Plague was gone. They killed a lot of Chinese people in San Francisco during this time period. And no one talks about it. It's a very hidden part of San Francisco history. I actually learned it when I was like attempting to figure out more about like all of the weird shit that happened in San Francisco. During this time period, the only thing that they could do, because they had no resources coming in, none at all, and the only thing that they could do was use what they had in order to be able to eat, be able to live, be able to like figure shit out, essentially, because they're literally being absolutely freaking killed off. Agreed. Agreed. They're absolutely being killed off in a very, 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 very fucking fast rate, because they're just letting them die. And so the Chinese street food becomes huge in San Francisco. Especially, I mean, like, it starts off only in Chinatown, but once Chinatown opens up, they're like, okay, this is a good way to screw over the white people, essentially. And so they have vendors that are just everywhere in the San Francisco region, and they're selling a lot of Asian foods and things like that. That gets shut down. How dare you make money that I can't control? Again, this is what's happening. The government is like, how dare you make money that I cannot control, that I cannot make, because my food tastes like shit when I make it. And I'm gonna continue saying that because I really think that it was racism, and it was like also sexism. Again, a lot of women are the ones who are doing this. And we get that police. So every time that we've had a food revival, a food truck, or not a food truck, a street vendor revival, because they are ran by immigrants, it gets shut down. Why? They're supposed to be lazy. They just take our taxes and do nothing. Why? Why would we stop them from doing the things that they enjoy doing and making money and being part of a society? Is it because we want to perpetuate the idea that all they do is steal our money? Is it because we want to keep saying that they're lazy pieces of shit who come in with nothing, like, for no reason? Yes, that is it. Hey, creme de liche, I'm talking about street food vendors. And this, we're getting up to the food truck portion. We're just before it. And we're making chili, because chili was the thing that was made in San Antonio from Mexican women, what we consider Mexican women now, Mexican women, that led to heavy regulation of street food in the 1800s. That would be me. I stole a thing. And so we're making chili and elote, Texas street food. But we have just talked about how the Asian street food became a wildly like popular thing in San Francisco, because of the Black Plague, and because, San Francisco tried to kill off all the Asians. That lived in Chinatown at the time, because they blamed them for the Black Plague. So we're now in the 1900s. We're firmly in the 1900s now, and let's just go up. Let's go up to the 70s, the 60s, 70s, 80s. The food truck. The food truck. We had seen carts, we had seen kiosks, we had seen tents, we had seen people setting up, just selling their food. We had seen all of that. But then a beautiful thing comes because of people getting the idea. There used to be ice cream wagons. There used to be wagons that would sell different items. And so people were like, you know what we can do? Make a tiny kitchen. We make a tiny kitchen, which was great for people who wanted a restaurant. They wanted a restaurant but they didn't have the funds for it because opening a restaurant it's expensive. I have been the part of several restaurant openings, and it is quite pricey. And so many people wanted, like, they just wanted a way where they could show their culture, show their food, and do it in a way that was more cost efficient for them. And that way was literally getting an old beat up truck, putting a kitchen in it, and selling food. Heavily regulated, because at this point in time, we've already had regulations. You could also, I mean, obviously there were parts when people were not, they're not doing things correctly. And it's fine. To me, that's fine. As long as, like, the food is safe, do what you can do. Do what you want. Do what you want. Look at the water. Y'all, look at this blueberry colored water because of this purple corn. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. You probably could not see it at all, but it was very gorgeous. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. We need to look at our chili. Bring it down a little bit. We're just simmering until our chili gets a really nice deep flavor. I am gonna put some coffee into it in a moment because I really like coffee. I'm gonna put a little instant coffee in it. It's a bolder flavor. I really like coffee in my chili. I feel like it brings out a lot of flavors. A lot of these racial tensions led to the 1992 riots. It did. In 1992, I was 2 years old. What was I doing in 1992? I don't know. I don't remember a lot of my childhood. So in April of 1992, I wasn't even 2 yet. I was 1 year old. I was probably falling, breaking things. My mom had not met my stepdad yet, so it was great. Sublime song, I know. I wasn't even thought about. You weren't even an apple in your mother's eye yet. Wow. Wow. You graduated in 1985. I'm a baby. I'm not a baby. I am 30. I'll be 36 this year. I'm not a baby anymore. I feel like a baby still. I still feel like a baby. I look like a baby. No one believes me when I say I'm in my, like, almost late 30s. They're like, no, you're not. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I very much am. I can feel it in my bones, guys. So we're to the food trucks. And food trucks at this time period are not the fancy food trucks that we think of now. There are some that were what we can think of now. They were the pioneers of having things like a pasta truck, like Creme Delish. But it was mostly Spanish. It was mostly Spanish, Mexican food. And it was mostly so that, you know, again, we go back to why the chili truck was invented. Not chili truck, but the chili, why the women started the chili expedition. And it was literally because people are poor and they need food. Their working class is a thing. And they need the food. They need to be able to eat. And they can't afford to go to another restaurant. They can't afford to take off. A lot of these people only have, this was before, we started seeing this pop up a lot before there's regulation, like working regulation. So there's no mandatory 15. There's no mandatory lunchtime. There's nothing like that. Even now, we don't really see that because especially in the restaurant industry, people fucking suck. And they needed food, and a food that is, like, quick. We also start seeing a lot more building projects. So America is growing. America is horrendously growing. And we have to be able to feed the construction crews. And the construction crews are mostly Mexican. So a lot of Mexican people started making their food trucks. It helped in many ways. They wanted restaurants, can't afford it. The prices are too high. The rent is too high. They wanted to be able to feed people quickly. Food trucks can do that. And we see that ideology that it's disgusting. How dare you? How flippin' dare you create something for other people? Why isn't this targeted to me, the rich white person? Why is this not, and we're talking about government here because I at least know a lot of white people who did partake in eating food trucks before the 2015 revolution of food trucks. Because we were poor. Like this is not only racism, this is poor people versus rich people, which is most food. Most food comes down to that. How dare you create something that I'm not going to use? They must use dog. They must use cat. That meat must be rats. They must not wash their hands, despite the fact that they have sinks in their trucks. They must be doing something that is disgusting enough for us to shut them down. So true. So sad. And so the idea just grew, and it's an idea. Hello, Miriam. How you doing? The idea just grew. It started when street food became a thing. It really, really grew when women were making chili for the working class in San Antonio. And then, the Black Plague happens. There's one more reason not to trust the food. There's one more reason not to trust the food. And then we need a way to feed the average person in the 1970s, 60s and 70s, and food trucks start popping up. And it's another way. It's another way. How dare them? How dare them do something that is cost efficient, more cost efficient than a brick and mortar space, even now. Even now. But the rich white people own the restaurants. He was so good in that movie. Oh my God, he really was. I love him. I'm very sad. I got to cook for him one time before he died. When I was in San Francisco, I was doing a dinner. I was catering a dinner, and he was so funny. Like in real life, he was just so funny and so amazing. And we lost a good man. And that's because you never know what's going on behind closed doors, especially if the person is funny. You think that they're happy. Most of the time, they're not. Yeah, one time I attempted, by the way, and people were like, but you always seem so nice and happy. No, bitch, I'm not. I need to toss some things real quick. I'll be right back before we do that last piece of corn. It's fucking cold, y'all. So much water. I stuck my arm in water, you guys. It was on the compost thing. It was not fun. That was not fun at all. Okay. So we're in the 1970s. How dare these people want to make something of themselves and make food for people to eat. We also, like, the 1970s and 80s are definitely a time period where we're starting to see a lot of that classism divide again in America, like a huge amount of classism divide. It's leading up. We're just past the civil rights movement, slash in the middle of the civil rights movement. And it's leading to, like, how can we be racist without being racist? Or how can we control the narrative without looking like we're trying to do something? And, you know, food is a weapon. If you starve people, they're more likely to do what you say. If they are starving, they're more likely to do what you say if you promise them food. We also see a heavy uptake during this time period of, like, people having things like personal chefs and, like, chefs in their houses and things like that. Oh, I hate looking at the news on my phone. So we start seeing that happen a lot, where, like, how dare you cook for other people when you should be in my kitchen illegally cooking for me because you aren't technically supposed to be here, but I can protect you. How dare you try to protect yourself? And this happens for years and years and years. And I remember in the 90s, not my mother telling me, because my mom, she was progressive-ish, considering she grew up within a very conservative family, but she was in the Army. So she definitely going to saute up this corn to make it a little bit softer. She was in the Army, so she saw a lot of shit. And so her ideas kind of changed. And then she started working for a company called MHMR, which was mental health and she helped people with mental health issues who could not normally get a job, get jobs. She was very creative at that one. Very fun. But we start seeing, like, we see a lot of these people being chastised, and their food is disgusting, their food is nasty, their food's made out of A, B, and C. And it's literally because, like, I can pay you under the table and you can work illegally for me, but you can't do it for yourself. How dare you? How dare you? We get past that. A lot of damage has been done by this point. And then all of a sudden we have food trucks become the trend. Because what has happened before in, like, a lot of the other history that we've been learning as far as food history goes, it becomes a rich people thing. It becomes a rich people thing. And I'm not saying that food trucks nowadays are, like, any better or worse than they used to be. It's just the ideology has changed because people now no longer, they still, if you see a random Mexican taco truck, more than likely, you're still gonna go, like, a lot of people are still gonna go, ew, they probably used rats in that. Yeah, okay. But if you see, like, a well-done truck, like the one that we lost our brick and mortar when I was at Bacon Bacon. We lost our brick and mortar because it smelled like bacon. So we opened up the food trucks. And it was done. It was pretty. It was nice. There was lots of street food, like parks that we would be at. I mean, y'all do what you need to do. You do what you need to do. What's more cost efficient? Is cooking a rat more cost efficient for you? Because, like, you know what? That's none of my business. What I'm eating is none of my business. Does it taste good? Okay. That's all I need to know. But we start seeing a lot more food trucks pop up that are, like, these kind of bougie ass food trucks, and they've slowed down a lot recently. I don't know what I was grabbing. I'll figure it out in a second. They have slowed down a lot to where there's not as many food trucks opening up. There's not as many spaces for that are specifically for people to go do food trucks. I'm very happy that I got to be part of that scene. It was very interesting. It was super interesting, actually. Um, got to meet a lot of really cool people. Got to try food that I've never even like thought about trying before. It was very fun. Oh, yeah. This is gonna be pretty. This is so pretty. Are they organic and wild harvest rats? What would you consider organic rats? And what would you consider wild? I think if we're talking about rats, we need to differentiate what is wild and what is organic. Um, I'm just softening the corn a little bit, guys, because it was a little too hard for the elote, especially the purple corn. Yeah, a little too hard. So we're gonna soften it up, give it some seasoning while it's softening. Very good flavor though. Wow. Do like this. But the reason of the food truck trend, I don't know. Do you guys watch Bob Burgers? Grew up eating squirrel. I think they were organic, but they were sure wild harvest. My mom one time, her parents served her a dish and her bunny had run away. They had served her own bunny. Can you imagine the trauma of eating your own bunny? I love Bob's Burgers. There's a Dutch song about this. Hello, Master of Splits. Do you guys remember the Bob's Burgers episode, the food truck episode, where he's like, "This is a trend. This is a trend," and the vegan guy was like, "A trend that lasts forever." I sleep to Bob's Burgers. I'm not gonna lie. My whole life is either centered around video games or food. It's crazy. Um, but I okay, wait, hold on, guys. Jennifer Lopez. Oh my God, my name's not Tina. It's Dina. That's a great episode, but it was a trend, and it was a trend because I don't know how to put this. Linda said that, and when she's knocking off the mirrors, you know those tacos and those, yes, 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 I do know those. She like knocks off the mirrors, and that makes me that was one of my favorite episodes ever. Just because I have been in, I know the festival. You made minis. Whoa, gimme. My favorite is like the Jack Cheese one. I don't know why. Um, but it became a trend. It became something for rich people because, in all honesty, it didn't go away. And so rich people were like, okay, the best way to make this go away is if we take a hold of it, essentially. I like the Wonder Roast episode too. I love Bob's Burgers. It is one of my favorites, my absolute favorites. Um, it didn't go away. So basically we started the affluent people started like essentially making it to where it was their thing, making it a trend. It didn't like it made lasting impacts as far as regulation goes. The amount of regulations that food trucks have on them right now makes sense. It's the same as a restaurant now. It's not what it used to be, which was basically, oh, you're a woman and you're not white, you can't do this. And now it makes sense, like this food and safety codes, but people still have it in their head And the black garlic burger one is so good. I have made a lot of these. I don't like the cookbook very much for Bob's Burgers. So I did some of them just myself. Just myself. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Good flavor. Thank you for that. Miriam did the Bob's Burgers. Can I get in here? Oh my God. So early, like mid 2000s, it's the trend. It's because, white people took it over. Um, and made it like where you have to go and spend $35 on a burger. Oh, okay, I'll get it in a little bit. And we had COVID hit, and that's really what tanked it, is that COVID hit. And then the fact that like they were trying to open these food trucks in places where there was still a severe bias of food trucks. These are still dirty. Getting your food from the street is still dirty. How many of you guys, if you were like, I'm gonna say San Francisco because like a Mission hot dog is so good to me, and I'm kind of craving it right now. How many of you guys would go if you were in a city and there was a person selling a hot dog on the side of the street? Would you buy it? And if you wouldn't, why not? If you would, why? Would you buy it? You would. That was the episode that I fell asleep to last night. That was literally the episode. He's texting Linda and she's like, I don't know what this says. You've always wanted to try to? Technically, we're making esquite, but
What?
technically we're making esquite, not elote. No, maybe I'm wrong. Okay. So we need sour cream and mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. It has a James Bond feel. You probably would. I have on many occasions. I have never gotten food poisoning from a street vendor. I have, however, gotten food poisoning from well-rated restaurants. Technically, so has Lucas. You eat almost anything. You know what? Fair. Fair enough. I try everything once. I would try everything once, but there is still this like idea that street food is terrible and it's dirty and it's disgusting and we can't have that around here. And I wonder, like Creme Delish, if you're still in here, Creme, do you think being in the area that you were in for a food truck, one, do you guys ever get a, this was my favorite one, why is this so expensive? Because food is expensive and we offer quick restaurant food. What are you making right now? I'm making elote. And then in the pot I have chili going because chili being sold on the street was a big turn when it came to American street food. Chili being sold on the street was a huge turn and made it very racist. Very, very racist. Corn! I like corn. I like corn. It's turning the the sour cream and mayo mixture into a very purple color. This is so pretty. How was the stream this morning? Very, very good. We got rated by a Miss Kanara for 101, and then we got rated by Merbakes, which was really funny because I was going to rate her. And we got rated by Chef Stitch, who is a good SAR friend of ours. All right, I am going to add a little chili powder to this and then put it in the fridge and let it chill. Oh yeah, we ate some of our pie last night before bed. Mmm. Hell yeah. Okay, let's make it spicy. I'll add the cheese in after it cools down. One of the reasons. Oh, okay, good. Awesome. One of the reasons that I thought about opening a food truck in Nashville, and then one of the reasons that I haven't is because I think that people in Nashville still have the idea that food truck equals disgusting. It equals dirty. And that just isn't a winning situation for me. I'm like, why would I do that? Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit more water into this chili to reduce down again, but I'm also adding a little bit of instant coffee. It's gonna give it some depth. And then we'll do our last two things, one of them being a grilled cheese, which won't take that long, and the other one being a coleslaw. It's just gonna be a simple coleslaw. We're doing that one next. Okay, we added a little bit of that. Let's add a little bit of the instant coffee and a splash of sugar to even it out, and then boom. Oh yeah, hey, Pink, did I miss a tornado? Hi, Seth. No tornado last night, thank God. Thank God. Hi, Seffy. Oh, I'm gonna say something and you guys are gonna laugh at me, but the smell of instant coffee reminds me of jail. Potato tornado. Oh no, I did not. I was so sick by the time, like I'm feeling really terrible right now, but I was so sick by the end of yesterday's stream that I just started cutting shit up and like fried the potato. The chicken or the Korean fried tofu, I'm gonna just call it Korean fried tofu, was delicious to the point where I have to remake it so that we can take pictures of it because we just ate it. Yeah, that's a good flavor. Do you guys, before the ad comes in, do you guys add beans to your chili? Are you pro chili beans? Are not pro chili beans? No, I missed everything. Beans, because I haven't decided if I'm adding beans into this.
The chili without beans.
That is the traditional way to make it this style chili. Mini beans. Okay. Then when we get back from our ad break, we will start on, when we get back from our ad break, we'll start on our coleslaw. It's just going to be a very simple red cabbage, nothing else, really, coleslaw with mayonnaise and stuff like that. Mayonnaise. See? That's it. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. We love themes. Yeah, it may not be next week because we are doing we're doing the history of women in culinary, different spots of it all next week. So State Fair Blue Ribbon Foods. Very interesting, actually. That was a lot of deep frying. I'm cool with that. It might be towards the end of the month when we do that, and if that's okay. But yes, I'm gonna put it on the list. I need to write it down. The history behind this would be very interesting too. Maybe for summer. Well, yeah. Yeah, towards I mean like April and May would probably be the better like times to do it. We can really get into the state fair idea. Okay. We're about to have an ad. When we have an ad, I am walking away for a moment. I'm going to sit down because again, this is crazy right now. My face is crazy right now. I hope that I made this significantly spicy enough. When we get back, we'll finish the history of food. We'll finish the history of street food in America. Finish up our chili, and then all we have to do after the coleslaw is our grilled cheese. The grilled cheese takes no time. See you soon. Oh, it's in my pocket already. Oh, breathing is a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm building out your vertical scene so we could also film for vertical immediately from that angle camera, but I kind of want to put it somewhere near this angle camera.
I was looking for my phone, crazy. It was in my pocket.
Instead, I only have to scene switching.
My face really hurts, you guys. You guys. Thank you.
Hey now, hey now.
I very much appreciate it. Oh my god, those taquitos look so good.
No.
Every day. Oh my god, Victor is still only in the hospital in Requiem. Only 2 ads? Nice. We still have technically a minute and 30 seconds, and I will get up and like not be a lazy bum. Lazy bum.
I'm building a. Sorry.
Me logging into Threads, seeing my husband call me the worst.
It's a wrong answer only.
I know, but I didn't read that first. I just saw my wife is the worst. I was like, damn, dude, tell me how you really feel.
I thought there was a cat there. It died.
That's so funny.
Should I plug it in?
You guys are so awesome at when you do the Tangia stuff. Fancy seeing you here yet again, always. Can I have my thing back?
I plug it in. It
Oh,
was dead.
I didn't realize that.
We'll go ahead.
5, 4, 1, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We have Lucas is currently like messing with cameras and stuff like that. Thank you guys for sitting through ads. If you do not want to sit through ads, I'd love a sub. If you don't want to sub through Twitch because you have problems with Twitch, I have a coffee set up. I think you can do exclamation point coffee. Why not a bed and breakfast stream? Hell yeah, bed and breakfast. I am always down for a bed and breakfast stream. I love bed and breakfast. If you want to subscribe through Ko-fi, that would also be amazing. This is my main gig right now. It's actually leading to other gigs. it's actually leading to other gigs, which I find amazing. Because like, you know, Mom Noms was always my passion. Food is my passion. I cooked for as long as I have for a reason. And with the market being crazy and like marketing just sucking balls, essentially, coming back to Twitch to do food has been more of a blessing than I can say. We're growing so fast. You guys are awesome. We are like, I hate being the beggar of money on the internet, but you know, it helps us to keep doing what we're doing. It helps us to keep doing what we're doing. And I appreciate that very much. But you guys just being here is more support than you can ever know about. It makes me feel so good, so loved. Like you guys love me or something. We're trying to grow. We're going to get partners. I really want to get partnership eventually. I really want to bring food and drink back onto the map. I just added a little bit of beans in here. We're going to add some more water, reduce it down just a little bit again. I need to eventually wash my pan from the corn. But we will do that afterwards because we're going to have to use that pan for our grilled cheeses. Grilled cheeses. That is the last water I'm putting in there. And we're making a simple slaw that's going to go super well with chili. We're doing a whole chili bar, basically. Smoked salmon Benedict with pork sausage and an orange mimosas. You're speaking my language with Benedicts. My favorite is a crab cake. Don't forget about you, Red. Yeah. My favorite is a crab cake Benedict. And with fried polenta on it. Holy crap, it's so good. It's beyond delicious. When I lived in San Francisco, there was this place called Two Townsend that was underneath my apartment building. And they served this particular Benedict. And I asked the chef for a recipe. I was like, hey, can I have the recipe for this? They wound up closing down, so I'm so happy that he got me the recipe all those years ago. Because like it is the best Benedict in the world. And it was so cheap because it was just a small mom and pop restaurant. It was so very cheap to go and eat that. San Francisco's known for the seafood. Yeah. San Francisco is where I have been executive chef for many restaurants. All right. So what we're going to do here, we're going to add just the other squeeze of lemon that we have out of here. We're going to add some salt. We're going to add some pepper. We're going to add some thyme. And we're going to add some mayonnaise. And that's done. I'm going to massage it in with my hands. We're going to massage it in with our hands and then put it up to rest until our chili is done. I love chili. It just takes so long. It takes so long to make. We've been making so many foods that take forever to make the last couple of days, guys. Freaking French onion soup. Apparently this week is soup week. It's soup. I am going to throw in just the tiniest bit of red pepper chili flakes. I'm hoping that the spiciness of the foods like knocks out that's exactly what I was trying to say. The spiciness of the food kind of knocks out the sickness that we have going on right now because I am already ready to go back to bed, guys. I'm like, bedtime? I've always wanted to attend a state fair like Minnesota or Iowa. I went to the Texas State Fair quite a bit, actually. I liked the Texas State Fair. There's one down the road. There is the Tennessee State Fair. Is really close to us, but we have yet to, it's always during a time period where we just are either too busy or too freaking poor to go. Last year it was the latter. We were just too poor to go. Year before that, we were just busy. I think we were prepping to go to France the year before. All right, give this a good little Mixy mix up. Start massaging it. Wash my hands again. I need a little bit of green, like some, not green, but like not a vegetable, but I do need some herb in here. Thyme, I was gonna put thyme in it, yeah. I'm also going to taste our, there it is. I'm some herb in there, yeah. Well, I don't have that kind of herb right now, and it's the middle of the daytime. We don't do that shit in the middle of the daytime unless the child's not here. And even then, we don't really do that. Good. I love coleslaw. Herb, cheers. You've never really done much. I'm almost to 420 followers on Threads. That's hilarious. You've never really done much as community activities such as fairs and stuff. I think that you and I come from the same socioeconomic background, and there's a reason that we haven't done much. You gotta have money to do these things. Money, 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 money. Okay. Coleslaw, done. Taste the chili real quick to see, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna need some seasoning in here. I mean, some more seasoning in here. I already know I need to add a few things, but you've done the regional, but not state. Ooh. That's tasty. That is tasty. It took you 30 years before you went to your first ever concert. You know what? That's fair. Because you live in the middle of nowhere, don't you? It's harder to do things when you live in the middle of nowhere. I was 45 minutes when I was growing up, 45 minutes from the nearest city. And that city isn't even big. That city is not even a big city. It's quite a small city, actually. Well, now it's bigger, but all right. This is for grilled cheeses. Grilled cheeses. I've always lived in the middle of bumfuck Egypt. Same. Very much same. Okay, you know what? I feel like being bougie. We're gonna get bougie in here. We're not gonna use our regular bread. We're gonna cut some of the bread that we got for the French onion soup. Bougie. I've never been to a concert. I do like concerts. They're my favorite way to spend money. Have not been to one in a very long time. Guys, when you go grocery shopping, always look for the things that are on sale. You can get some really good stuff that way. Did you watch Futurama? I did watch Futurama. I don't watch it as much. I didn't watch it as much lately, but I did used to watch the hell out of some Futurama. I can't help it. Except for When I lived down the street from the Gothic Theater in Denver, but I never got to go to it. I just hear Flyleaf as I was pocket Flyleaf is playing here, and I'm like really sad. I want to go. Flyleaf is from the next biggest city that I could go to in Texas. I know them from high school a little bit too. Poplar's leg of salmon, anchovy pizza. Whoa, that sounds good. Always hit the clearance sections. Yeah, you never know what you're gonna find. You never know what you're gonna find. And honestly, like, if you can find some of your staples in the clearance section for cheap, do it. Do it. You guys are gonna watch me unhinged. Original American street. Actually, all of the street food was stolen. It was all Nick. All of the street food that came over was from the people that Eurocentric people considered lesser than them. So it started off with oysters. It started off with oysters in the coastal regions by the Italian and the Irish. And then when women in Texas in the mid 1800s tried to make chili for the working class, is when it became a super racist. Super racist. Everyone ate dirt clods, knew it, pretty much. But yeah, it became a very, 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 very racist regulations, and continued to be that way until, well, it's still that way. It's still that way because for some reason we have it in our dirty little minds that street food is somehow worse than, you know, a restaurant. Oysters. Poplars are literally popcorn chicken or popcorn shrimp. Hell yeah, they are. I wish, but was cheap. It's not here. Some of my favorite meals have been street food. Exactly. But during the like 1800s until the like mid 2000s, it was basically people were like, no, this is the rich people were like, oh, it's meat from dog. It's disgusting. They don't have any standards when it comes to health. And so it'll continue being like this. In Thailand, pad thai on the streets are the best. I bet. I love a good pad thai. I mean, we talked about Korean street food yesterday, and which has been around since the Joseon dynasty, and how rich people basically fucking ruined it for everybody because they wanted that food, and how dare other people have it. I mean, that's the same way everywhere. One of your groceries, they were clearing them out for 99 cents. I do not know how to use them. Nope, but I did buy 3 bags they had left. Yup. Burritos are the evolutionary peak of walking foods. Yeah, they are. I love a good burrito. A good burrito. All right, the chili is almost done. I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of sugar. I think that's all that this chili needs, is the tiniest little bit of sugar. And then that'll be done. King Gojang. He was not one of the ones that made the Korean street food become a rich people thing for many years, but it was a little bit after him, and they were like, I love this food so much. Why were we gonna allow people to eat this? That's not us. Essentially. How dare we allow people? I mean, the Joseon dynasty. The Joseon dynasty lasted for a very long time, and he was one of the kings of the Joseon dynasty, but one done. Ha ha ha. Gotta get the ikis out of it. Unrelated, but do you know how to use shirataki noodles? Are those like the asking for a friend? I may have some recipes for you. I'm pretty sure that people like the diet culture people started using them just as regular noodles for a while. I mean for your friend. Yeah, they're miracle noodles, aren't they? Straight in my belly. They're supposed to be my one unknown food to try this week or this month. Ooh. Yeah, you can essentially use them as regular noodles. But I would really like they would probably be really good in just like a stir fry or in like a soup, like a chicken noodle soup. Because they soak up flavor very well. Lucas is talking to me like I can hear him. Let that go for a second. I like that you try unknown foods. That's so cool. You're so cool. That takes a lot. It takes a lot for people to try unknown foods. It's a goal this entire to go out of my comfort zone and buy something that I would never try every month. Hell yeah. I'm so proud of you, Seppi. You're doing so good. There we go. And one really good one. This one's gonna be not mine. Oh, I'm starting to feel it, guys. I'm feeling it in my fingers and my toes and in my nose. I have no idea how this is gonna be plated. We're probably gonna eat before I actually take pictures of this. Because I'm starving now. Okay, that's a little bit better. Seriously, that is such an amazing goal, and it's so cool that you do that. Oh wait, finished chili, we can mark that off. Someone said Futurama. We could just make up history of Futurama food. That'd be hilarious. Call it canon. Make up the history of a food and call it canon. All right, last one. I don't know where Lucas went. He probably went to the bathroom. I try my best to eat new foods every time against gochujang and shrimp powder and enoki, so my month is very packed. Seriously, I want to make my palate better. Yeah, I need to use the enoki before they go bad. Anything for St. Patrick's Day? That's next week, isn't it? Probably. Probably. More than likely, yes, we'll be doing something for St. Patrick's Day, even if it's a small thing. St. Patrick's Day is my brother's birthday.
Piece of cheese.
No. You have cheese coming. And my ex-husband's birthday, too. It's everybody's birthday. Everybody was born in March. I don't understand. Irish stew? That's a good one. You don't have any how to cook them. Enoki mushrooms? Do you have any cabbage? Because you can literally roll them into cabbage and put them in a gochujang sauce. and like simmer them down, and they're really, 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 really tasty. You sometimes eat spices raw due to understanding August. What part of August, creme delish? I wasn't born in March. I wasn't either, but my best friend Courtney, who sometimes shows up, and Lucas were both born in March. My brother was born in March. My ex-husband was born in March. I was born in May. Why does everything have an ex but me? What do you mean? There we go. Get this finished up and we're done. Everyone have an X. The X part is usually bad. It usually is. It usually is. All right. We're going to have to give producer Red some to try. We're going to have to do him in a whole ass plate, guys. Is this the one that the main camera we're using right now?
No.
Okay. Because it does.
I'm working out the kinks.
Ah.
Because sometimes it just grabs me.
Gonna give some food to producer Red to see if he likes it. Move this to boop, boop. Keep doing its thing. I wish I didn't have an X. I have many X's you can choose from. I'm not gonna say any of them are good though, but you can have them. Same though. Same. Mm. All right. Producer Red's getting a tiny little bowl of that. Turn that off. Give him part of a grilled cheese. I feel like I'm making a baby meal right now. Baby meal.
No. You stole it.
I did steal it. You miss them sometimes? I mean, it's completely normal to miss people. Okay, we're gonna give Lucas a tiny bit of a elote and a tiny bit of the slaw, and he gets to taste everything, and then, you know, we'll make an actual plate at some point. We'll make an actual plate. The low cost of $3.99. All right. There's our chili, our grilled cheese, and elote, and our slaw. Producer Red, give us some ratings, please. I'm gonna eat part of this. Probably chili. My 19 years, you've only had one girlfriend. Ooh, by the time I was 19, I had had a few boyfriends and a girlfriend. It's just chili. Yes, but it's not chili con carne. That's a different thing. This is just chili. It's not chili con carne. No, it's just called chili.
This is delicious.
You forgot my bundle deal. What bundle deal? I'm confused. I may have. I've been sleeping so much, I don't know what I've forgotten. That doesn't mean that you've never pursued. That's fair. That's very fair. But maybe you dodged a bullet. You never know. Mm. Very good, actually. I struggle falling in love. I am a person who, if I love you, you're stuck with me for a while. You are definitely stuck with me if I love you. One second, you guys. I'm gonna walk off stream. How's it going over here? That good? Literally Lucas right now.
Have you tried your elote?
I have, yeah. I took a bite of it. Oh, I know who we're gonna raid out to today. Oh no, there's two people we could raid out to. I'm gonna do the one. Oh, we did it! We X'd everything off, and we learned a little bit about the food history at the same time, you guys. Thank you for sharing your time with us always. Always. Wait, is today Thursday? Okay. We'll be back tonight on RDPK. Not streaming Resident Evil again. Yeah, because we said this yesterday because we've been sick and exhausted. And I really want to play that game with a clear head because it's one of my favorite games. We will be playing. Am I too much for my own downfall? Everyone I follow with just wants nothing serious. I think that's just the day, the time period, and the if you're around the age that I think you are, it's just the dudes. I was lucky to catch someone who didn't want anything really serious, but then fell in love with me and decided to get married. You haven't fallen for anyone else? I get that. We'll be back tonight, probably playing Super Animal Royale. Probably won't be a long stream because we still feel like trash. Tomorrow night is another RDP&K stream, and here on Mom Noms, we will see you on Saturday night. I don't remember what we're cooking. If you want to know what we're cooking, ! Discord. It's a snack of some sort. Oh yeah, we're doing pizza bagels.
No.
Huh?
No pizza bagels.
I said pizza bagels on it. Yeah, huh?
Bagel bite.
That's a pizza bagel.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a bagel bite.
That is a pizza bagel. So we will be doing pizza bagels on Saturday night. Hopefully we'll feel much better for a Red is one of a kind. Hopefully we'll feel much better for a stream. Thank you guys for being here, even though I've been sick. We're gonna raid out to eat at Dad's. I'll be posting pictures. There'll be a blog up. Follow me on all social media. If you haven't followed me here yet, go ahead and hit that follow button. We're trying to get to 1,300 by the end of the month, and we're well on our way there. And then, yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Love you guys. See you soon. Mwah.
It was a wild stream. That was delicious. I'll eat all of this.
Eat more. There's plenty more. Just don't eat the top. This one, because that one's getting pictured.